My name is Dr. Arthur McClinu. I've dedicated my life to providing surgical care to patients with heart disease. My life began in the slums of Soweto in South Africa, where I learned to overcome adversity and illnesses, including the death of my best friend. That's why I want to be a resource for you and your family for consultation related to heart and cardiovascular needs. You can learn more about me by visiting my website, which is at zuluchaskada.com.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the sports edition of the Roland GRIMES, not just sports and entertainment show. And as promised, I have one of the most prolific passers in NCAA history. You can Google his name and read his chronology, but you will see his statistics right up there with some of the legendary quarterbacks like Joe Montana, Boomer Esiason, Dan Marino, and pretty much, I think, RG3 is still trying to catch up with his records. Hey, folks, put your hands together as we welcome from Syracuse University alum, Mr. Marvin Graves. Marvin, as always, it's a pleasure.
Thanks, man.
All right. Look here, man, I'm going to start by saying this. My first time, we're going to go back first, and then we're going to go forward. My first time, I actually was in South Carolina at a family reunion when you broke into the scene against USC your freshman year. And man, I was jumping all over my furniture because you were running around, throwing passes. You lost the damn game. But you got to start somewhere. And of course, you were bringing back some memories of a man I know named Don McPherson. I don't know if you know him or not.
Yeah, I know him.
All right. But Marvin reminded me to sit up straight when we're on, but like I didn't want to hit him with my chest, so y'all just be cool for a second. But Marvin, look, man, tell me something. You're from the Washington, D.C. area. Went to Carroll High School with those long socks. But look, what made you decide to go to Syracuse University to play football at that time?
Well, basically, man, I took several visits, and when I went to Syracuse, it just felt like family. I mean, it was a snowstorm up there, and
so you knew what you were in for.
I knew what I was in for, but you know, the coaching staff and the players, you know, that were there, it just felt like family, so it felt right.
Going to Syracuse University, going away from home, did you have any loss as far as wanting to stay home or stay close to home since you were going, a couple of hours away, or was you happy?
Not really. The main thing my father told me was wherever I was going, I had to spend the next 4 or 5 years there. So, like I said, I took several visits, and when I went to Syracuse, it just felt right. It really didn't matter where it was. So, you know, once I had that feeling, I remember when he told me, I knew that was the place for me.
Well, look, at that time, black quarterbacks weren't involved.
Exactly.
So, were you being recruited by some other schools to play a different position, or was everybody looking for you to play quarterback?
The schools that were recruiting me to play quarterback.
The ones that you visited?
The ones that I visited.
Okay.
They recruited me to play quarterback, and I really hadn't. I played other positions, but you know that was what was my bread and butter. So Syracuse, Temple, Boston College, schools like that. So I was never recruited as another position.
Now, when you arrived at Syracuse, did they ever think about switching your position,
No.
or okay?
That's
Okay.
Not at all.
Now, who was the head coach when you first got
Dick
first arrived?
McPherson.
And you played with him for how long?
I played with Dick McPherson for 2 years, and then Paul Pasqualoni took over after that.
Now, there was a time where you guys were ranked preseason like #1 in the nation, if I recall.
As high as 3 or 4.
As high as 3 or 4? Okay, and you went to a couple of bowl games, if memory serves me correct.
Went to 3 bowl games.
3 in a row?
3 in a row.
Okay, when I played, we went to 1, so I'm like mad at this guy. You got to go, man. Do you remember? Quiz. What were the 3?
The Aloha Bowl, which is in
Honolulu.
Hawaii.
Okay.
The Hall of Fame Bowl in Tampa.
I remember that one.
And the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe, Arizona.
Now I want to say you played LSU, Ohio State, in 1 or 2 of them.
Played Ohio State. Played Arizona. And Colorado.
So who inspired you to become a quarterback? that time?
I mean, I watched them all, but you know, being an African American, I watched the Warren Moon.
Right.
I watched the Vances, the Randall Cunninghams, and I also like the John Elways, the Joe Montana, guys that were kind of my size. You know, David Craig.
Right.
So it was several quarterbacks, but seeing guys like Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham, and then actually seeing Don McPherson, who was up for the Heisman with Tim Brown, really inspired me to stay at that position.
Because you have a similar build as Donnie, right? Matter of fact, you might be a little thicker, especially from the neck up. I know.
Well, that's now. That's not back then.
Oh, that was. You know what? You're right. Same for. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how often do you get back up to Syracuse now, or do you get a chance to travel up there much?
In the early 2000s, late 90s, I used to get up there at least 2 or 3 times a year. Lately, I haven't been as much, but you know, I have some things going on that I definitely plan on reconnecting. Still keep in touch with a lot of guys. You know how we do, man.
No doubt. Facebook was our best friend, right? Catching up with everybody.
That's right.
Now, the program is moving to the ACC. I have my feelings. Tell me how you feel about that.
Well, the one thing I understand is it's about money.
Okay.
The thing that I don't like is there'll never be a Big East again. You know, we get ready to face the last Big East March Madness, the last tournament, the rivalries, Georgetown, Syracuse. You know, that's what you're gonna miss about it. But in the bigger scheme of things, it's about money. So I understand that.
And we'll create some new rivalries as well as we go. It may take about 97 years, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, we won't see.
James?
But let me ask you, going into a different conference, you know what Big East is more so a passing league, between the 50-50 between passing and running. And going into a different conference, mainly running with all these different teams, how is that going to affect their recruiting? What you think as far as bringing in skilled players in, when they know it can be more so running than passing?
I think recruiting is what it is.
Right.
I think, you know, there's a lot of parity in football right now. You know, your powers are Alabama, LSU, schools like that. As far as the Big East, I think, you know, the coaching staff plays a big part in that. You look at guys locally like Mike Lobson, you know, a guy that can go anywhere in the country and recruit. So I think it comes down to the coaching staff getting out there and hitting the grind, man, and convincing kids that, you know, Syracuse is the place to be.
Now, you played in the Courier Dome.
Yes, sir.
What is the biggest difference between playing underneath the roof and playing outside?
Well, the biggest difference is, you know, what the weather's going to be like. You know, there's no cross winds, there's no inclement weather, but it gets hot. You know, it gets humid. When it's filled 50,000 fans, it can get pretty hot out there. So basically the weather, you know, on game day, you know what you're facing.
Now, is it that difficult to adjust to play outside after you've been practicing and playing in the dome? Did you find that to be a difficult adjustment when you hit the road?
Not really, because most of the time, you know the weather up there. We'll practice in the snow. You know, we use the dome as to our advantage. You know, if it's too bad outside, at least we can get a good practice in. But we also practiced in the elements so that if we played, you know, in the rain or the snow, we were ready.
Now, I talked about some of your records, some of your yards. I don't know if you remember offhand, but how many yards did you throw for during your career, Marvin?
I don't know, man. Not enough. Not enough. We ran the option, so
we ran the option.
About 8,400 yards. That's an option offense. Wow. Yeah.
Hey, folks, we're going to take a quick station break. We'll be back with Marvin Graves. We're going to talk about the field of coaching and some other things when we return to Roland Grimes, Not Just Sports and Entertainment Show. Right back at you. Roland Grimes, Not Just Sports Entertainment Show. Here with Eugene Helms, my co-host. I'm Roland Bubba Grimes, and also here with Mr. Marvin Graves. Marvin, when we took a break, I was telling you offline that we're going to talk about the coaching industry a little bit. Now, you had a chance to do some coaching on the collegiate level. Where were you?
I was at Catholic University in Northeast D.C. for 4 seasons, quarterback coach, assistant passing game coordinator, and then I was the offensive coordinator for the JV games.
Okay, super. You're not coaching now?
No.
Tell us why. Well, I mean, other than the business side of it, more from a personal standpoint.
Well, from a personal standpoint, to be frank and simply put, you know, when you're in the coaching field, just like playing, you know, professional ball and college ball, you got to travel a lot.
Right.
You know, you got to be ready to change your zip code. And, you know, with my family based here, you know, my kids doing well in school, my wife did a good job here, I just decided that changing my area code for $1 wasn't going to work for me. So, you know, with my resources and a lot of people that I know, like you guys, you know, we can do the training. You know, we can do the mentoring. You know, we can do things like that we've been bred to do to make $1.
So now, coaches spend more time raising other people's children than they do their own.
Basically. I mean, when I was at Catholic, this is a D3 program.
Right, this is D3.
Right. You know, during the
And you
season,
still were putting the hours in.
7 days a week, you know,
Chopping down
80
film.
hours, you're lucky to put in 80 hours. You know, so there's really no time set put on it. And then you're so passionate about it.
You
that
love it, and you do it, and you don't look at the clock.
You just there. And like you said, you raising other people's kids while yours are sitting at home.
Now, let's stay on the collegiate side. Now, you know, you and I discussed this during the break. What should the universities do as far as players leaving out of school, getting major contracts as far as finances? Now, that's one of the biggest things that a lot of players, when they get this big lucrative contract, they don't have any financial management. And that's one of the things that I believe they should implement, which they haven't. Unless you've been in business or you major in business, you won't have that. So what do you think as far as what they should do regarding the
I mean,
finances?
I think that they should do exactly what you just said. When you know that players are going to step into not just a regular 9 to 5.
Right.
You know, making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. These guys are signing for millions of dollars. And, you know, a lot of these guys come from, you know, less fortunate areas. So I think it is the university's responsibility to help put that in place for them. You know, because guys step out there with all this money, then you got wolves coming out the woodwork.
Exactly.
And let's be honest, you know, if you're not used to having something, you're going to go out there and spend. And if you don't have anybody to help you cut it off or keep you at bay, then you'll end up like a lot of the athletes end up, and that's broke.
I mean, heck, you look at lotto winners, they're not used to having, but when they get it, they spend, or somebody locks them in a closet somewhere and tries to steal it from them.
Right.
But look, man, when you came out, we thought you were going to sign that lucrative contract too. Now, I saw you on ESPN on one of those shows a while back, and you were talking, and you know what? I have to kind of agree with you, and I'm not impressed easily, but I loved your career. Here's the thing, you said, you're welcome, and you said on television that you were ready to go pro at the end of your junior year. And I actually witnessed that, and I was sitting there, and as I was watching, I said, man, that's pretty powerful, but there was no market. When you think of Major Harris, Tony Rice, a bunch of you guys in that era came through, African-American quarterbacks who could run like these guys run now.
Exactly.
But the market responded a little differently. Now, I'm cool with it. You can take the kid gloves off and we can get busy with it. What happened?
Well, I just think it was a different time back then.
There you go. You get ready to give me political answer.
It was a different time back then.
It's a different time.
You know, I was 6'1", I was 190 pounds. I came out of an option offense, and I was black. You know, so I wasn't your typical quarterback. But, you know, we do have to look at guys like Jay Walker, who came out of a passing offense. A traditional passer, 6'4", 6'5", out of Howard University, who got that opportunity. But he was drafted in the 7th round.
Exactly.
You know, the year I came out, there was a guy taken from a Division II, Division III school in the second or third round by Atlanta. Go figure. So I just think what I'm happy about today is guys like Donovan McNabb, guys like Michael Vick. I feel like I'm one of those stones that help pave the way for the guys that's doing it today.
Okay, so I'm going to go there. You're
Let's
not
go.
bitter? You're not bitter?
Nah. You want to know why?
No, I want to know why, because my jaws are tight more
The
than
bottom
yours.
line is I can't really miss $1 million that I never had.
Well, not even that, just the experience of continuing to play football.
Well, I did. I had a chance to play. And, you know, although it wasn't the NFL, I had a chance, I had a contract waiting for me with a signing bonus in Canada. So,
Man, you actually came to see me play. You don't remember, do you? I was playing semi-pro.
oh, okay, okay.
I was a defensive and offensive lineman by then. But,
Yeah.
But you came up, we were playing at Christian Brothers Academy. And I looked up and I saw you, and when I saw you, I said, okay, now I have to body slam somebody. Marvin's in the stand. Yes, folks, I played semi-pro, but that's not important right now. What are you doing to stay fit now? Now, I know that you're a little bit bigger than you were when you played ball, but man muscle and man size happens. But your body doesn't look much different than what it did then, and I can see you are still working out. Tell me what your training regimen is so this dude can jump into it.
Well, I'm going to try to get with him.
Good luck
But
with
basically, I just jog, you know. My wife jogs, I jog.
that. You can still run?
I'm not saying
Oh,
run.
yeah.
I said I jog. So, you know, I jog, you know, maybe 2-3 miles, 2-3 times a week. And I just do calisthenics, man. Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups.
Use your egg
I have
whites.
no need to get up under a bench press to lift all those weights.
No weights?
I
No
just got to
squats?
look sexy for the wife and the kids.
So your ego doesn't kick in and you get under that? You don't want to do that anymore.
Well, some things you got to keep under wraps. I got 4 daughters, so
got
you know
you.
I got to stay ready.
I got you. You got to keep them guns.
That's
man.
right.
All right, Helms, I'm scared about whatever you get ready to say, but come on into this picture, brother.
You know what? I'm going to flip the script because I'm going to go
Alright.
right back to the CFL. Now, one of the things that we talked about was the CFL field. You know, the CFL field is about what, 110 by 55?
It's like 3,000 miles long, 4,000 miles wide, something like that.
Close.
Now, from a quarterback point of view, how different, since you had that 12th man in the CFL, from playing 11 on 11?
Well, the field's bigger.
Right.
So, just a quick, short example. When you throw a 5-yard hitch, which is a quick route,
Like 40
on
yards.
American field, and the veterans are telling you, don't be late. You throw it out there late, instead of like 20 yards, it's almost like 30, 35. And if you throw it late, it's going the other way.
Exactly.
And I experienced that firsthand.
So you have to throw it before the guy even comes out his break.
Yeah.
Actually, before he comes off the line of
Yeah.
scrimmage.
Definitely.
But look, I'm going to end on this note as far as Canada goes, and then we're going to wrap things up. That experience that you had in Canada, now, it's a different culture, it's a different language sometimes. What teams were you playing with again?
I played 2 years with Toronto, 4 weeks with Hamilton. I played had two stints with Saskatchewan and Regina, and I also played with Montreal.
Now, the Canadian game is it almost a step down from Division I college? I mean, did they still have the towels and the jock straps ready for you, or did you have to carry your own helmet, or did you? How much different was that in terms of facilities, in terms of the amenities, versus when you were playing big time ball at Syracuse?
It was definitely a step down. Now, I can only say that from going to Toronto. I think there were other organizations that, you know, had their stuff together a little bit better. And I say that respectfully.
Right.
We were at a top-notch school. You know, Syracuse was one of the top schools in the country. We had some of the best facilities, and it was second to none. And you don't miss it until it's gone.
Now, how long did it take you to get this game out of your system once you finished?
It's not out of my system. I just knew, you know, in 2001, I got injured, and when I got up off the field, I knew I was done. I knew that I wanted to be able to walk, talk, play, throw the ball, do everything with my kids, and I wasn't going to let football take me out that way.
Wow. Hey, folks, deep conversation. We're going to have this gentleman back if it's all right with you. Marvin, As always, man, it's a pleasure. Man, that joker's hands about as big as my feet. Hey, folks, Roland Bubba Grimes signing off. Me over here with Boy Wonder, Eugene Helms, Dr. Funkenstein himself, Marvin